In this video, we're going to talk about some of the tools, resources, and things that I use when I'm doing my own personal Bible study. Every month, I upload a new Bible study in my Money Mindset membership. And we do deep dives into concepts and things that aren't traditionally talked about in church circles or from the pulpit. And it's been eye-opening for a lot of people who've been inside of the membership. It's eye-opening for me as well. The other day, somebody messaged me this in my DMs. And as an amazing of a compliment as this is, I do not feel like that at all. Every time I open up the scriptures, it's an adventure, and it's an honor that I get to share the things that I'm learning or that I have learned over the last, 2-something decades, especially with regards to money, Bible, entrepreneurship, business, and all of these truths that have existed in the text since the beginning of time, but most of us have never really done the work to actually take a look at it. So I've gotten a lot of these compliments before, messages like this, and it's humbling, and I'm so grateful that I get a chance to do what I do. But I also get messages around, well, how do you do it? Like, what is your process? What do you use? How do you even dig this up inside of what seems like a treasure trove of things inside of the Bible? So I thought today, that fell. So I thought today we could have a conversation about some of my tools and tips and tricks that I use for my Bible study. Now, some of you may or may not know, I have a master's degree in ministry, so I've studied the Bible. I went to Bible school. I'm actually certified in a particular method of Bible study called precept upon precept or inductive Bible study. If you want to do an actual Bible study or learn one of the Bible study methods that I use, then we can definitely do that. Just let me know, send me a message, comment down below. We can do it live, actually. I think that would be really fun if we just all came together. We did like a live teaching, and I could show you kind of the way that I have done inductive, the way that I was taught how to do inductive Bible study. So this is not a how to do Bible study situation. This is really about some of the tools, because I think that that's important if we're ever going to get to the place where we're doing the actual study. So I'm going to walk you through some of the things that I have around me when I'm sitting in this chair and I'm doing my own personal Bible study. So the first thing I want to start with are some books that are on the shelf. These are the optional part, but they're important to me and how I study because of just how I've learned. Like I said, I went to school for this. So there's a lot of books and things that I've learned how to use or that I've used along the way. Most of the time, so before I even get to that, most of the time I'll say that I try to let the Bible interpret the Bible, meaning that I don't often go to outside sources, but sometimes when there are things that I don't understand, I don't speak Greek or Aramaic or Hebrew, which are the languages that the Bible is written in. So sometimes when there are things that I don't understand inside of what I'm reading, then we have to sort of figure out, well, what does it mean? Because I have to look at these, some words that may not contextualize in the English language, which is the language that we all speak. So let's start with those things over there, and I will get those, and then we can begin having that discussion. So the first thing you're going to need, probably obvious one, but you're going to need a Bible. I recommend getting a study Bible because in study Bibles you usually have sections on the side where you can take notes in. So if you are a person who likes to write in your Bible, getting a study Bible makes the most sense because there's space in the margins for you to write. And you know how there are those people that have had their Bible forever and the pages are tattered and torn and every page is highlighted. They have so many notes in the margin. They have, inserts that they put inside of their Bible. I am not one of those people. Whenever my Bible starts to get a little too crowded with my notes or with the highlighting things, I will often get a new Bible because I like it to feel new and fresh. Every time I'm reading it, I'm going to get a new insight. And so I never want to sort of rest on the laurels of Bibles that I've read before and the notes that I've already written. So I like to have multiple Bibles, but it's not just for that reason. It's also because the Bible, as we said earlier, was not written in English. So there are multiple different translations. When I'm reading a passage, if there's something I don't understand, something I have a question about, I'm probably going to look in other versions of that Bible or of that verse, because in doing that, I might get a different insight, right? Some Bibles are transliterated, meaning they're just translated directly from the language into what the English equivalent would be. Some Bible translations are more about the concept, like this is the concept of what it's talking about. So, depending on who you are, what you like, use your main Bible as the reading one, but then I often will look into different versions. So here I have an NASB. This is a study Bible. Another study Bible is a HCSB, so that's the Holman Christian Standard. Then I have this comparative one, and this has the NIV, the KJV, the NAS, and the Amplified. So I use this one primarily when I'm looking at the Amplified stuff. And then, of course, my main Bible that I'm using right now is an NIV version. This is the beautiful word. I posted this on TikTok, and a couple people asked, oh, what kind of Bible is that? So this is the Beautiful Word Coloring Bible, and I like it because, I can color inside of it. It has really fun pages and things like that where you can color on the side. So when there's a passage or something that I'm particularly meditating on, I can just color in the sides there. But there's also space for note taking as well, which is something I talked about earlier. There are dozens of versions. I don't recommend getting a ton of them. Other versions that I also have that I can't find right now because I don't know where they are, I think they're in my bedroom. ESV. I have the Message on my phone, and I also have the Passion version on my phone as well. So I will look at them depending on what I'm trying to get out of the verse, like to understand it a little bit better. I'll go into different versions of the Bible. So that's number one. The second tool that is completely optional is a commentary of sorts. So this is an Old Testament and a New Testament commentary. I will put links down below if anybody's interested in these particular ones, but they're same thing, dozens of different kinds of commentaries that you can use. What's a commentary? Well, it's kind of self-explanatory, but basically it's scholarly insight on Bible verses. So if I'm reading something and I don't get it, because maybe I don't understand the cultural context of what's happening in Rome at the time, so I'm going to use a commentary, and then the commentary is probably going to give me some notes, some insight into what's happening, why that word is being used instead of a different word, where other passages are in the Bible that can also reflect the exact same concept. So that's what a commentary is. It just gives you more scholarly insight because there are people who are smarter than me who have done a lot more work inside of the Bible than I have. They've spent their entire lives doing it. So commentary is going to give me commentary on passages that are inside the Bible but come outside of myself. So that's an external source. Then I have some other books and things that you can use. The gospel parallels. So this is one, if I'm reading the gospels and I see something that's happening in the book of Mark, I want to know, okay, where does Matthew talk about it? Or where does Luke talk about it? Well, this book here shows me that. You don't need to buy this book, by the way. You can find this on the internet now. When I was in school, many, many moons ago, studying this stuff, the internet wasn't quite as robust in terms of what was available. So I have a lot of books. I mean, as you can see behind me, just shelves and shelves and shelves of different types of scholarly writing, major Bible themes, Jewish Book of Antiquities. Like there's so many different insight books, but if you're going to want to study the Bible, these help a little bit. Now you don't have to buy them if you want to, because you're a nerd like me, then you can, using the links below. But if you just want to look something up on the internet, I'm sure that you can type in commentary on John 3:16 and then something will pop up for you. So the multiple Bible versions and the commentary and external sources and books, those are optional things, meaning I don't pick those up every single time I read the Bible. They're just there as supplementary supports. The primary thing you're going to need, of course, is going to be your Bible. The next thing actually is on the internet. And on the internet, if I just want to look up a word, I'm going to look up something called a lexicon. So I go to Google and I type lexicon and then the verse, and then it's going to pop up and it's going to show me how it's written in Greek or Hebrew, what the word actually means. So I highly recommend having that. You can download an app on your phone like a lexicon, but I just usually go to Google and then I type in what I'm looking for and it gives it to me. So those are the tools that I use for that. All right, now let's talk about some other things that I have as well. If you are a person that likes to have something external where you can write things down, then I highly recommend having a notebook or a journal, a diary, a legal pad, whatever makes the most sense for you, because oftentimes the space inside of your Bible just isn't enough to write down every thought, every question, every word that you want to study or you want to do a deep dive in. So having an external notebook helps a great deal. I have since stopped using an external notebook, not because I don't love it. I am that girl. But what I found is that because I travel back and forth between here to Atlanta when I'm doing speaking engagements and I'm in different states, trying to carry this and this and this, and my laptop, it's just a lot of things to have. So I have relegated myself to taking notes inside of a tablet. So you can use an iPad if an iPad makes the most sense for you. I just have my Samsung tablet here, and basically, this tablet comes with a stylus, so it operates just like a notepad would or just like a notebook would, but I have it with me everywhere that I go because all of my client notes are in here. When I am preparing for a speaking engagement, all of my notes for that are inside of here. So I know that this is probably more likely to stay with me than this is. The second thing is because when I carry journals, if I'm in an airport, I am likely to lose it. And then some stranger somewhere in the world has all of my deep, dark secrets and notes that exist inside of my Bible study notebook. Whereas with this, that doesn't occur. Even if I lost this, everything that I've written down lives in the cloud. So I can just download it again if I got a new tablet or a new device. or even from my phone, I can download it. So I don't have to worry about something being lost or stolen, because I will always have access to it. No matter where I am in the world, as long as I have Wi-Fi, I can access my notes. Now, there are some times where I don't have this on me, like I'm in a meeting or I'm somewhere else and I don't have my tablet, don't have the iPad. So what I typically will do then is, if I do have a piece of paper, the beauty is I can snap a photo of any notes that I take inside of the notebook, and then I just upload it into the notes section of my tablet, and then I have it again. So it's pretty much the same thing. So that's why I like having this. Would recommend, if you're going to use a tablet, to get one that has a stylus so that you have the writing functionality of it. There's so much science behind writing. It's a neuromuscular activity, and I find that retention is a lot better when I'm able to write. Plus, with this, you have the highlighters are built in already. Different colors, everything is sort of built in. So if you're wanting to take notes all pretty and nice and with highlighters and graphics and things like that, usually you can do all of that from that device. What else? Oh, also, I forgot to mention, like markers and pens and things like that. So while I don't always use this for a notebook, I do take copious notes, and I do a lot of highlighting inside of my Bible itself, which you guys were able to see. And these are the markers that I use. I'll put links down below. So these markers, I just get them on Amazon. They're by Canvastra, and they're dual-ended. So one side is a little bit thicker and the other side is a thinner, like fine point pen type of situation. So those work great, but sometimes depending on the thickness of your Bible page, they can bleed through. So these were sent to me by Mr. Penn, and I did a review on them on TikTok, which I will maybe insert here, or you can go to my TikTok page and take a look at it. But these highlighters are so great because they operate like gel crayons in a way. I don't know, they don't bleed because it's not ink. It really just feels like a gel crayon. It glides so smoothly. So these have been my go-tos. I actually want to order more. I want to get more colors of these because they're so fun. My cousin introduced them to me because she sent me a pack, and then Mr. Penn also sent me a pack. So I do have several, but I do want to get more colors because, I can be excessive in that way, having lots of different tools. But it comes with 5 highlighters and 4 pens, I believe. So I'll put a link to Mr. Penn down below in case anybody's interested in that as well. So the last 2 things aren't physical, but they're incredibly important, and it should come as no surprise that the first one is consistency. There's a difference between reading your Bible and studying your Bible. Do I study my Bible every single day? No, because I don't have time. I think that's just the reality of living in the time that we're in. Do I get a chance to study? Every time I'm studying, I'm doing it for an hour, sometimes 2. I've been known in different seasons of my life to have the opportunity to study for 8 hours a day. I don't have the capacity to do that in this season. So I can't study every day. I can read every day, and I have devotionals for that, or sometimes I'll be in a particular book, or something will come to mind and I want to meditate on it. And so I will be in the Bible every day, but I'm not studying it every day. But I do like to have a regular rhythm of having study time, and it's built into my calendar. And my study is often for personal reasons, but then there are other times where I have to study because I'm filming a Bible study to upload for my clients. But the time spent doing it really has to be something that you build into your regular rhythms of life. Otherwise, it's never going to get done, right? And if you need a guide, there are plenty of guides out there that you can buy. There are books, there are templates, I'm sure. I have the Bible studies inside of the membership if you want access to those things. So there are many different places where you can find guides if you're just not comfortable opening up the book and then studying it yourself. I do recommend having a study system. So if you're wanting to do that live with me, then please let me know, because we can definitely schedule that, and I can just teach you how to study a passage for yourself so you're not having to rely on guides. And I think that that is a trajectory that all of us should want to get to. But there are plenty of Bible studies that have been written and curated and crafted for you depending on what you're wanting to learn. There's some about faith, there's some about women of the Bible, men of the Bible, there's some about finding your purpose, grief. I mean, anything that you probably want to study, somebody has written a Bible study on it. So I'm sure you can find it somewhere on the internet at some point. The second thing is one of those things that I think we all advance to. So if you're the person that's like, I need a study guide, that's great. That's a wonderful place for all of us to begin. But at some point when you graduate away from having somebody build out the Bible study for you, and you know how to study the Bible for yourself, or you have learned how to dissect a passage, one of the best tools that you can use to do that is to learn how to ask the right questions. I think it was Rob Bell that said that the quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions that we ask. And so when you go to the Bible and you read a passage, the best way to dissect it, or at least to give you direction in dissecting it, is to figure out, where do the questions lie? What questions do you have? Because from the questions that you have, you can then begin to research You can read more, you can look at other passages that have that same verse or the same context of that verse, the same words inside of it. And that's really one of the best tools that I can recommend, is just asking good questions that will lead you to the next step and the next step and the next step. And then you'll find that you get closer to God as you ask those questions. You will begin to understand more of the Bible. You'll retain more because you're invested in learning the answer. One of my favorite Bible verses is Proverbs 25:2, which says that it is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but it is the glory of men to search it out. And that's our job. We search it out. Like, God will hide things, not because he doesn't want to give you the answers. Like, God is hiding things. Sometimes it's strategically because you don't want to show the enemy all of your moves. And sometimes it's because in you seeking it out, you are building up your faith. You're building up your knowledge of him. You're building up your relationship and your closeness to him. So I would highly recommend getting to that point if possible. But if you're not there yet, that's okay. If you're just new, you're just trying to study, you're just trying to learn, then using something that already exists is a wonderful, wonderful tool. Okay, well, I think that's it. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. Just leave a comment down below. I'll have links for you in the description box down below as well, just in case you're curious as to the actual physical things that I'm using. I'll make sure that those are accessible to you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.